Today we're taking a look at the former two-time under 105 world champion, Kevin Ferris. Kevin Ferris coming back to World's Strongest Man again. He's an athlete that tends to compete in a lot of the big shows, yet to do anything special at the big shows, but he's kind of almost become known as the good little guy.
I know, bless him. He's more than the good little guy.
He's got some events he's fantastic at.
Yeah.
And he is a really, really good strongman. He just hasn't quite been... I mean, it's so hard when you're invited to those big shows because you're always against the best of the best.
Yeah, of course.
He's been to a few Giants live shows where he's been on the podium. We've seen him in some, real good battles with people. But World's Strongest Man has been a struggle for Kevin.
It has, and we'll go into the details now with Kevin's facts and stats. So as you already said, Kevin is a two-time under 105 world champion, and he first stepped up to the heavyweights in 2017 when he competed at the official Strongman Games and placed second overall behind Trey Mitchell. And since stepping up to the heavyweights, Kevin has been on 6 international podiums, with the most recent being the 2022 Giants Live World Tour Final. Kevin has competed at the World's Strongest Man 4 times, and so far he's made the final once in 2020 where he placed 7th overall. And the 3 times Kevin hasn't made the final, he lost out on qualifying thanks to the stone off, and very similar to Bobby Thompson, who we talked about the other day, the one time he made the final was because he won the group. It's a bit of a Bobby.
He is a Bobby, he's one of those athletes, very, very good, but Stones has kind of let him down at World's Strongest Man. And it's not to say he's a terrible stone lifter, he's not.
He's done all right, but...
Yeah. It's one of those events that's just so important at Worlds if you're not winning the group. And he's one of those athletes consistently top 3 in his group, puts himself in that position where you're a threat, and he's just lost out when it comes to the stone off. I'm not a fan of the stone off.
I've
said this so many times, and I know plenty of you aren't a fan of it, some of you are. But it's there. So you kind of have to put the work in. We mentioned with Bobby, imagine if there was a log as the stone off. Imagine if for Kevin there was a frame carry as the stone off.
Dinning off.
Every athlete has different strengths.
Of course.
And World's Strongest Man is favouring that stone lifter strength. But it's there, you can't do anything about it. So as an athlete, you have to just get on and work on it.
So let's look at the events and the heats, starting off with the loading race. And Kevin Ferris is a very, very fast athlete. He won the loading race in his group in 2020.
Yeah, Kevin, when it comes to loading, is lightning, to be honest. And it's an event he can beat anyone at. I'd expect big points from him. It's the perfect start for Kevin, really. I think this is a real good event for him, and he picks up big points.
So next is the deadlift, which is for reps, and it's the barrel loading machine that they'll be doing. Now, since stepping up to heavyweights, Kevin hasn't ever won a deadlift event, but he's solid, he's consistent, and I think this format will suit him very well. He's come second twice in his group on the deadlift for reps.
Yeah, and his deadlift keeps improving all the time. We saw a big deadlift from him at the Arnold recently. His deadlift performance at the World Tour Finals last year was what really improved on what we'd seen previous to that. So deadlift is something he has certainly made progress on. I don't expect him to kind of win the deadlift.
No.
But again, he can pick up points. He's in that region of could be 4th, could be 3rd, could be 2nd.
Yeah.
There'll be someone in the group that out deadlifts him, but not that many people, I think.
And a similar story, I feel, to his deadlift is his log lift. Now, he did the log ladder in the 2020 World's Strongest Man final, and he was actually 5th overall. And he was 2nd in his log in the groups last year.
Yeah, and I think a log ladder suits him more than a max log, for instance. Obviously, we saw at the Arnolds, he was only one of 2 athletes not to do the heavy log. However, when it's about speed, and it will be until that last log, it's going to be about who can do them the quickest.
Yeah.
He transitions quickly. He's a fast athlete, as we know, and that will allow him to pick up points on athletes that maybe would beat him on a 1 rep max.
Yeah. Now, Conan Circle, we don't have much data for Kevin, but what we do have is very, very impressive. In 2017, which was around about the time he was stepping up to heavyweights, he beat Belsac on a Conan Circle, who has always been incredibly good at this type of event. And he beat Ivers too, who's also another very good one.
Matches Belsac and Ivers are both very good at those type of events, and Kevin is exceptionally good.
Yeah.
So very, very good event for him. When he saw that this event was in the heats, knowing he's got loading, knowing the progress he's made on log and deadlift, I think he looks at the events and thinks, I've got a chance here.
Yeah, definitely. But one thing he would not have been happy to see is the kettlebell throw, because what we've seen from him in the past is it's a consistently poor event for Kevin.
Yeah, throwing has not gone as well as he would like, and he's going to need big performances on these first 4 events to put himself in a good position, I believe. Because ideally for Kevin, he wants to win the group. That's going to be difficult having even one weakness.
It is, because there's going to be, like, the guy who's above him is likely going to be above him on the deadlift, on the log, even if they lose out on the other 2.
Yep.
If they're a good thrower, then straight away that puts Kevin into the stone
Puts
off.
pressure. So yeah, he's going to need a big performance on the throw. And yeah, I think we're going to see Kevin in another stone off. Whether he's second or third could be very, very important in terms of who ends up going through. But it's not gone well for him when he's ended up in that stone off. No. So we'll have to wait and see it. Like I said, it's going to come down to who's in the group, who performs, etc., etc. But he's definitely an athlete you should be looking out for as a top 3 contender in any group.
So the events in the final, I don't feel are great overall for Kevin. I feel like he could do really, really well on the carry for distance, the shield carry. I know he didn't do so great at the Rogue Invitational on the Husafell sandbag carry, but to be fair to him, he was unwell, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was ill, but unfortunately for Kevin, really, that's the only event I can see him scoring any big points in the final. Yeah. Obviously, the fingers, he's one of the smaller athletes, which doesn't help on that. We have seen some very good performances on those by smaller athletes, but tended to be athletes that trained it a lot. Deadlift and dumbbell, there's just too many guys there that can beat him on those type of events. The events in the heats, I think, are better for him, and you know, really good events for him, like a farmers or a frame carry or a grip event. It's just not at this year's competition. Yeah. So if he did make the final, I think it would be like a 8th, 9th, 10th position. But he has a chance still of making another final. So definitely, that will be his goal for sure. Right, guys, let us know if you are a Kevin fan. Do you want to see the little man beat the big guys? You kind of call him a little man. He's still a big lump.
Very rude.
But in Strongman, he's one of the smaller guys.
130 kilos is little.
Yeah, I'm a little guy myself now. Yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the videos, guys. Let us know your thoughts down below, and we'll catch you next time. Stay strong.